Hey up YouTube, back down the plot again today. Although not going to be really, it's a bit of a hybrid episode. So what I'm going to do basically some weeding today. That's pretty much all. Obviously for a lot of the country we had some much needed rain, but what that means to us allotment holders is the weeds are just going to go bump. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weed out, I'm going to go around, I'm going to hoe everything off. But what you're going to see and hear is going to be very different. You're going to see me hoeing. They see me hoe. Let's not get into that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to voice over me hoeing off. Sorry. And sorry, that's thrown me right off. And I'm going to voice over with jobs for June. I know we're already sort of a third of the way into June, but you know, not to break with tradition, and it makes for valid videos year on year. So I'm going to do without further ado, I'm going to get out there, I'm going to get some hoeing done, and then that's it. I'll voice over it, might put a little bit of music on. I know some people don't like the music in the background. What I might do actually is I'll do two versions, one with music, one without. If I've done two versions, there'll be a little card pop up somewhere up here any second, which will take you to the alternate version. Click on that and away you go. And that'll actually tell me sort of what people prefer as well, so that would be really handy if you do click on that for me. That would be a big help. It'd be really informative and it'll tell me. Anyway, so without further ado, like, share and subscribe. Don't forget about the GoFundMe link in the description below. Everybody's going back to work now, so I would like to see some donations into the GoFundMe for Cancer Research UK, please. It's in the description below the video. Please, if you can't give, please share the link to your Facebook pages, share it in your videos. Let's just see if I can get some money together for Cancer Research UK, because like I said, it's a combined effort between me and you to try and get a bit of money in the pot for cancer research. It affects all of us in one way or another. So I'm going to crack on. I'll see you in a bit. Hey up YouTube. So, I love having lots of time to talk because I've not got to rush things. So what we've got is, as per usual, I'm going to do a rundown of all the things that really you can do in June. Now June, as I'm sure you're well aware, is a very busy month for us growers. Very busy. There's lots going on. We've still stuff growing. We've got harvests coming. We've got, you know, the weeds are going ballistic. We've still got seeds to sow for those of us that like multiple crops. So there's lots going on. So let's jump straight in it with what you can harvest in June. Now, once again, as I said, this is a combination of my own personal notes from years gone by, a little bit of ad lib, because we do, and also I like to give you slight excerpts from Allotment Month by Month by Alan Buckingham, because I think it's an excellent book and I can't plug it enough. And I get nothing for plugging it, so you know, you can take it from me when I say that. So anyway, harvests for June. For me, one of the harvests I really look forward to in June and July is my first earlies, my new potatoes. It's one of the best crops for new growers to get them really in the mood, because you've sort of had that lull where you've sown everything and then you've got nothing coming back, and you're to and fro a little bit and you think, is it worth it? And you get that first taste of some proper grown new potatoes and it makes it all worthwhile. This year for me, it's been the first harvest of my Pink Passion Swiss chard. Absolutely stunning picture on that. And also this year, It's my first harvest of turnips. I've managed to grow turnips for the first time ever. Really happy with that. I like turnips, but generally for what you get, they're too expensive in the shops, which is one of my ethoses, is to grow what you either can't afford or are unwilling to pay for in the shops. Cauliflowers, unfortunately, I didn't do any early season cauliflowers this year. Really gutted about that. It's not something I'm going to mess up on next year. I've got it in my notes here. We've got asparagus now. Asparagus, hopefully I'll get a little bit next year. I can harvest 25% from those crowns that I've put in this year. So hopefully I can have a little taste of homegrown asparagus. Broad beans, they're coming out. They're starting to crop. Thankfully, we had a first crop on them with our Sunday dinners, and everybody loved them, so I'm well chuffed. We'll grow them again, and I'm going to overwinter them this year, so stay tuned for that. Garlic, for me, that will be coming out this month. It'll be coming out for me towards the end of the month, depending on how the tops of the plants look. But for me, towards the end of the month, it's still growing. Artichokes, I was speaking to an Italian lady this afternoon. Unfortunately, all her artichokes got stolen just as they were ready for harvest. Beetroot, if you've had any early sowings of beetroot, they come out now, and also you get your baby beets now as well. If you've overwintered some Japanese onions, as I have done for all the years apart from this one, so if you've overwintered some Japanese onions, they should be coming out this year. And also we enjoyed our first harvest of spinach this month. In fact, that was last week. You could, as I've seen so many people, if you've got your peas in nice and early, you could be harvesting your peas now. I'm really jealous of those of you that have got peas. And kohlrabi, which is actually one that we had last year as well. Lettuces, I mean, you couldn't have been cropping them for the last 2 months, depending on your environment. We're going to run through them a bit faster now. Spring onions, radishes, your cut and come lettuces, carrots, if you had them in early in the polytunnel, etc. Rhubarb, I reckon this month really is your last chance to harvest rhubarb, because you need the plant to get some energy back to overwinter itself. So now really is your last chance to be harvesting rhubarb. And broccoli that you sowed last summer will now be coming into harvest for you as well. And then the fruits we should all know. I mean, one of the biggest reasons we all get allotments, surely strawberries. You know, it's without a doubt, it is the best month for strawberries this month. So keep an eye, because remember, they don't last long. Gooseberries, mine hasn't fruited this year. It's lots of growth, so I'm happy, but it hasn't fruited. And cherries. Cherries really, I think, are more a July crop. But do remember that if you don't cover your cherry tree with some netting, the birds will have them before you do, I guarantee it. Moving on to things to sow in June. This is seeds that you can still sow in June. You got beetroot for a late season beetroot. You can be sowing your broccoli, your carrots. We did chicory last year. We didn't do it again this year. The kids didn't enjoy it too much. It was a bit too aniseedy for them. Your courgettes and your summer squashes and your marrows, you can still be sowing them if you're not already overwhelmed with them. Now is the time to plant out or sow outside your cucumbers, depending on where your season lies. I planted mine out about a week ago, actually. And French beans. If you want a second sowing of French beans, you can do that in June as well, which is actually something I need to do. June is the best month. If you're planning on doing a herb garden, June is the best month to start preparing and sowing your seeds, such as coriander, basil, fennel, parsley, dill, chives, mint. You can do now, although mint you can really sow all year round. But June really is the time where you can start sowing your seeds for your herb beds. Kale, I need to sow some kale. I'll be doing that at the weekend. Kohlrabi I've already done. Lettuces, continually sow your lettuces. The best way I find to do lettuces is to sow 3 or 4 at a time, because The only thing, I mean, homegrown lettuce is amazing, but the only drawback of growing lettuce for yourself at home is it doesn't keep. One thing that the supermarkets do, obviously, it's blast chilled as soon as it's harvested. It's packaged in a protective, nitrogen-rich environment, which preserves it. Things like that. So things that we can't replicate. So, try and aim for a continual small crop of lettuce. I think that's why cut and come again became so popular. But I'm old-fashioned. I like a head of lettuce. You can just get away with sowing main crop peas or March 2 now. I personally see June as a good opportunity to sow sugar snaps on March 2 because they're the ones that you eat from the pod. So what you can do is you just put into space where you've already got your peas with a second sowing, and then once your first sowing of peas or your proper peas, your podding peas are done, you're then starting to get some that you eat from the shell, and you get a continual crop that way. Once again, like the lettuce, you can do continual sowings of radishes, the odd row here and there interspersed with things if you've just put some cabbages out, for example, like I do actually later on in this video. What you can do is you can sow some radishes underneath or close to those cabbages, because the radishes are out of the way a long time before the cabbages are overshadowing them. Last opportunity for runner beans, but you can still get some out with a bit of luck. You can do another turnips now, which actually I'm going to do, and I'm going to do some Swedes. You can do those now. But really, it is your last chance for Swedes and turnips. If you sow now, your turnips will be done about August time. Your Swedes, don't forget to cover them. Spring onions. So I'm just going, sorry, I know it's jumping about a bit, but spring onions, like I've already mentioned, the lettuces and the radishes, is something that I like to do small batches of and just interplant them where I've got space. Gives me a constant feed, constant supply of lettuce. Basic salad, really, especially because the one thing I hate is not having any lettuces and having tomatoes, or vice versa. So I try and keep those crops running. Mature plants to plant out in June. So aubergines, obviously, if you've got a polytunnel or a greenhouse, that's where they want to be. Brussels sprouts and cabbages, they're the last of your summer, autumn and reds, really. And you can start sowing your first of your winter cabbages, which I'm going to do at the weekend. Caped gooseberries can now be planted outside. Melons can be planted outside. They're better in a greenhouse or a polytunnel, but they will plant outside. Oh, the list goes on. Cauliflowers, celeriac, which I tried I think about 2 years ago and the kids don't like it. Celery, I'm hoping to get my celery out. It's a little bit small. I was a little bit late with my celery this year, but I'm hoping to get some celery out. Chilies and sweet peppers, if you've not already got them out, it really is, you're really running late and they need to be out. They need to be in the soil or in large pots. Obviously, chilies and sweet peppers, if like me, you're slightly a north or you are a northerner, ideally they want to be in a greenhouse. If your season's slightly longer, like you're down in Cornwall or Devon, then I believe you can actually plant them outside down there. But for us, chilies, sweet peppers, melons, things like that are better in polytunnels and greenhouses. That's why we have them. If you've got a ridge variety of cucumber like I have, I've done Marketmore Ridge, they can be sown outside. Remember, feed them well. Leeks, I believe it is your last chance to be getting leeks out in June as well, or at least that's what I've got written here. Now then, I've got written in big pages in my jotter, weeding. Weeding at this time of year never ends. and it's primarily what I'm doing throughout this entire video is weeding. If like this year, I mean this year the weeds I have in my life, we get in rain, then 3 or 4 weeks of dry, then rain, then 3 or 4 weeks of dry. The weeds are loving it. Especially, and this message goes out to you new allotment holders more than the old boys, because the old boys and girls, because they know this. As a new allotment holder, believe me, weeding gets easier. As you keep on top of that ground and you make it nice and you keep working it and working it and working it, believe me when I say this, weeding gets easier as the years go by. And you'll see it quite rapidly year on year. It will get easier. So don't lose hope. Get yourself a good hoe. The one I use is the Wolf Garden hoe. It's sort of a wavy design. I'll try and remember to put a link below the video to one. Honestly, it is so sharp, and I've not sharpened it for the 3 years I've owned it, and it just kicks everything's arse. So it's a little bit pricey, but worth every penny. I'm not going to go through and list weeds. We all know a weed is just a plant that is somewhere we don't want it. So, you know, if you have planted a nice neat row of something and anything outside of that row really is a weed, isn't it? So, you know, keep on top of your weeding. I can't stress that enough. Moving on. You know, weeding is the big job for June, but there are other things that you need to do. So if you've got young plants in, remember during the dry times, they need watering. They're young. When they're a bit more mature, you don't need to worry about them so much, but young plants need watering. If you want to reduce down the amount of watering you have to do, there's a job you can do to save you the amount of watering, and that is mulching. Last year I mulched with a load of straw. I had a spare bale of straw that burst. So I mulched all my potatoes with straw, and it worked a wonder. I haven't been able to get any straw this year. I'm actually desperate for some for my chickens. But mulching does work. I can vouch for mulching 110%. You can mulch with things like straw, old compost, well-rotted manure, in my case alpaca manure, grass clippings around your sweet corn. That's a good one. I mean, if you want to spend the money on some fresh compost, mulching with compost is perfectly fine. Continue to earth up your potatoes, which is something I have done in this video. For me, it's not about earthing up the tops of the plants, as you will have seen. All I'm doing is banking up the sides, and all you're doing there is preventing those top growth of potatoes, preventing them from getting the sunshine. That's all you're doing, because once a potato turns green, don't eat it. You're climbing French beans, things like that. Get your supports out for them. They'll be ready for it. You need to feed your asparagus now, especially if you've had all your harvests from it. Now's the time to feed it. What you'll also be seeing from talking, as we've mentioned about strawberries, what you will also be seeing is you'll be starting to see them send out runners. Now, I did do a video on strawberry runners last year. I'll try and remember to put a card up. If not, it is in the back catalogue of videos. Those strawberry runners are your best way of free strawberry plants. I don't stress this enough. I am going to do a video again with it now that I'm a little bit better with videography. I am going to make another strawberries video, and I will get around to that. So stay tuned for that. I might actually do that for this weekend, depending on if I've got some runners to show you down on the plot. And, well, I know I do. I just don't know if I've got enough to show you. But I do want to capture as many runners as I can this year. In June, you need to be thinning out your plum trees. And by thinning out, you need to be taking off every other fruit. Okay, that's as simple as I can make it. It's not something I've done a video on. It's something I've got in my notes here because I have invested in a plum tree. Grapevines, as I've said to so many people over Facebook in the last week or so, you need to be doing your summer pruning and you need to stay on top of it. They are vigorous growers, and if you let them get away with it, within a season or two, they will fill a greenhouse. I kid you not, I have seen it. And that is pretty much it for June. Yeah, that's it, guys. That is it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my little outro here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue the video. Just for those of you that want to see the end of the footage, I'll continue the video. I'll put some music on, and we'll keep the video rolling after the outro for those of you that want to watch the remainder. I'm also going to, as I've mentioned, upload 2 versions of this video, one with a voiceover, one with a little bit of background music just for while I'm talking, and then one without. And I would really appreciate it if you would watch your preference. Rather than commenting, I don't like the music, rah rah rah, please watch your preference, because the views on the videos will tell me which ones you guys prefer. Because there's a lot of you that don't comment. So please go watch which one you would prefer to watch. So guys, that is a big list of jobs. June is a busy month. Fear not, July and August are just as busy. So guys, I'm going to leave you there, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Oh, hey up YouTube. Right, we're done for today now. Hopefully you can hear me. We are done. We've done some weeding. Not got all the weeding done that I wanted to get done, but I've got enough done for today. We have built a new sort of netted thing so that the cabbages can be planted out. And hopefully I've given you lots of hints and tips for things you can do in the month ahead. So until next time guys, please remember, like, share and subscribe, and also click on the GoFundMe link in the description below. You're not funding me, you're giving direct to Cancer Research UK. Please give what you can. So for now, I'll see you later.
But first, one thing, please, if you do Facebook, we would like you for us to follow. To follow us. So.
Links are at the end of the video. All the tags, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, are all at the end of the video. So please join us on the social medias, join the discussions. We're trying to build a community here. It's a friendly community. We all get along, but it's a small one at the moment. So come join in. I'll see you later.